All right, good evening, folks. Welcome to just a bit of a different and special Tuesday night live. We thought we'd do a bit of a Q&A. I know we haven't done the Monday night show this week as we're obviously out of football. And yeah, all the other guys are taking a well-deserved break, although Grok and I did record some videos on Monday night. One of which launched today and some other ones that are coming out soon, which is more about the end-of-year player rankings. We're going to go through and rank every player. I'll get the other guys involved as well in some videos too to help with that one. But I thought we'd just put the feelers out there and see if anyone wanted to do a live Q&A. I've got a quiz lined up as well, not footy related. So we'll see how that one goes at the end, just for a bit of fun. But I do acknowledge that people still like to vent and to chat footy and stuff like that. So I thought, well, we better do a bit of a cheeky live whilst time still permits. And see how everyone's going. So welcome. I hope you're doing well. The app, it's called Cahoots. So Cahoots is what the quiz will be on. I'm still working on getting like the bigger plan so more people can play, but maybe potentially we can do multiple quizzes because there's a couple of shorter ones we can do that aren't sport related, but it means more people can get to play over the course of a couple of games. So we'll see what we do there. Gee, my hair is all over the shop here with the gel from today. My goodness. Good evening, Hayden. Hope you're doing well. Good first question. With the last touch rule coming in next year, does that mean another ruck might not be as big of a priority for Richmond? Also, could it mean that Cooper Duff-Tytler could fall down the draft order? Now, I could bring up my mock draft, but I won't because I'll save that for a video. I've got CDT not in the top 4, so I don't have West Coast or us taking him, I don't think. The rule... Look, the rule will maybe help Ruckman in some way, but I don't think it's going to be too detrimental. Like I still don't think he's right for us. I still don't think we're not in the right window for him because we're going to need him to ruck as number 1 in the near future, which he's not going to be able to do, I don't think, until 3 or 4 years down the track. Not to say he won't be a good player. I just don't think we're the right profile for him at the moment. Thank you. He could slip. I mean, his last game was okay, but it wasn't lights out. But yeah, there's going to be someone who's after him, right? I just don't know if it's us. But on the new rule coming in with the last possession, I really like it. And I know it's probably divided a lot of people. I know I've seen a lot of comments about, don't change the rules. They shouldn't have stuffed it in the first place, which is true. Their initial change stuffed it in the first place. But this re-amending of the rule, if you want to call it that, I think is actually going to be a really good thing because last disposal, sorry, not last touch. So last disposal and last touch are two very different things. And one can be very convoluted and the other one's pretty clear cut. So the fact they're going with last possession or last disposal, it just makes the rule a lot more clear cut. I mean, I've said this for a while that we're being conditioned for this anyway with deliberate out of bounds, but we see it every week, not even in our own games, how annoyed supporters and players get at not understanding how certain intentionals are being paid. So I think that now by making it last disposal, which is what the Sandful has done for 10 years, AFLW 10 years, I think it's going to make a lot more sense. I think it's going to be a lot easier for fans and players to understand because it's as simple as if you kick or handball it and it goes out of bounds, it is a free kick against. If it's spoiled out, if it bobbles around and rolls out, it's a boundary throw-in. So you still get your boundary throw-ins. And I think the other thing to be mindful of as well is this is probably the first time that a rule's being introduced or changed that usually what they've done is they've just thrown it straight into AFL level. They've thought about it, maybe trolled it in a couple of EFL games at the last minute and then rolled it out. And that's when it usually falls over. But this has been used relentlessly for 10 years. So there's a lot of work that's already gone into a lot of data behind it. So I think it's going to be, I think everyone will end up liking it. I truthfully do. I know some people won't now, but I really do think that people will end up liking it because it's actually black and white. It's actually going to be based on factual evidence and decisions rather than interpretations. And that's everyone's gripe. It's the amount of interpretations we have in the game. So I'm all for it. I think it'll be okay. I do understand the trepidation, though. I really do. But I suppose I've watched a lot of sample footage now with doing like the Louis Callaway and Jack Lee's videos and things like that. So I probably see it a lot more than maybe other people do, only because the sample games aren't readily available to watch. Like you got to pay to be able to watch them. So I'm probably a bit more used to seeing it. So I'm a lot more comfortable with it. But yeah, I think it'll be good. Well, I don't know. Dersman might slide. Well, yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see what we do in this space. Is Serple doing a good job, Lee? It's probably a two-part answer. I think I definitely commend him for what he's done with the older players. You look at Dion Prestia. I know he missed the first part of the year, but to get him to play 12 games in a row for the back half of the year at a pretty good level, I don't think any of us would have thought was possible. And Jacob Hopper to get through the full year uninterrupted for the first time was really good. Tom Lynch didn't re-injure, I don't believe. So he missed from suspension only, I think it was. So I think he's done a good job there. I know the young kids got injured, and that's the frustrating part. I think a lot of it's to do with the jump between the workload from Coates to AFL. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if we all dug deep enough. I'm sure there'll be the similar kind of stats with a lot of other clubs and their young players getting hurt. Some get through unscathed, like obviously Murphy Reed's had a ripper year. Harvey Langford got through unscathed. I think for us, it was probably magnified because there was 8 players and it happened to a lot of them, which was shit. But you just got to hope they learn from it and they're adjusting. And we'll see what 2026 holds for us. But I think there was some data out there suggesting that young kids are a bit more prone to soft tissue in their first couple of years. Cochin missed his first year. There's a few other players, not missed, but didn't hardly played. So it's not uncommon, but also annoying. So I think next year and the year after will tell us a bit more about how Serple's going with that stuff. I'm keen to see how Juddy Clark rehabs from his third ACL. That's probably going to be a big one too. I think they did something a little bit different with the operation because of the amount he's had. So I'm keen to see how he will go. Leo, nonsense comment. Way too early. Absolute rubbish. Yeah, we're not. Well, it's really hard. I think we'll be more active next year. I just don't think there's the player type out there for us to try and get. Obviously, we had the hat in the ring with Reed, and he's obviously made his choice. And I think what we do well is we have our hats in a lot of rings, but whether they have come off or not is a different story. And I'm sure all clubs are the same. It's not just exclusive to Richmond. But I think it can be difficult to draw the big names when we are where we are. And that's why next year, assuming we still perform better, we might see a bit of a better outcome. Fingers crossed. John, we have been told by the club that we will trade both of our picks to get an experienced player. What do you mean? That's an interesting statement. We have been told. What do you mean by we? I'm assuming you're in some type of group of some sort. We will trade both of our picks to get an experienced player. You may have elaborated and haven't got to it yet, so I apologize, John. But if you haven't, please elaborate. A lot of divided opinions on Elijah Hollands. Yeah, I knew that one was going to divide people, and that's okay. I guess I see a lot of people use Yaron as the comparison. I think it's the wrong comparison to make. I understand what people are trying to say. We're a different club. We've won 3 flags since then. 10 years have passed. We've built a really awesome culture. I know some of those people are now no longer there, but it's embedded in the club now. The other key factor to remember when we compare Yaron to Hollands is Yaron's issues were actually hidden and unknown. So no one knew, whereas Hollands are quite clearly on the table and everyone knows. So if you get him, you know what you're getting before he's even set foot in the door. That's a big difference. The Yaron one caught everyone off guard, except for Carlton, who did know and stooged us. But this is a different case altogether. So I can't accept that as a comparison. Not to say that it's not without risk. Absolutely it is. But that's what you've got to do your due diligence. And whichever club takes Elijah Hollands, whether it's us, West Coast probably seem like the better suitor now that Chesser wants to go to Carlton. That seems to make sense. But whichever club gets him, if anyone, it'll be the shortest leash of all time, and there'll be clauses left, right, and center, as there should be. So, yeah, I just think that we're in a mature spot. And if we wanted to, I think we could, but I understand why a lot of people wouldn't want to as well. But he can play from a pure football perspective, he can play. Why are the tackle numbers so low? I know there's a lot of comments. I'll get through as many as I can, so I am still a bit far back, so I apologise. Tackle numbers are low. It kind of felt like we're going back to that corralling type method, which I don't think really works. But there was a couple of games where we were getting our tackles broken through quite easily, which can really open the game apart against us. It was being young and strong. I'm not sure. I just don't know whether we were actively trying to tackle or we were trying to just corral and guard space. Personally, I think from a supporter perspective, I think we'd all love to see us getting like 60 plus tackles a week. That seems to be around average, above average for most teams. If we get 40 or 50, the game can sometimes still feel okay. It's when there's been a couple of games that we had 30. I'm like, that's not really acceptable. Because often if we don't have the ball, then we should be able to be laying tackles of some kind. So I feel like it'll be something we'll work on in the off season. I think all clubs will, but it would be nice to see that number go up. I agree. Yes, going back to that rule, why is it between the arcs? It is what other leagues do. That's what Sandford do and what AFLW do. So it's just the last disposal out of bounds in between the arcs. Will it lead to more arc reviews? I don't think so. This is where it gets tricky because AFL players are very good at exploiting rules and loopholes. Sandford players and AFLW players probably aren't thinking to do that. They're more worried about playing their football. There shouldn't be very many loopholes in this. It's as clear as if you handball it and it goes out of bounds before someone else touches it, it's a free kick. Like if I handball it, but a teammate gets a fingertip on it before it goes out of bounds, throw in. Like it's simple as that. And I really do think people will actually enjoy it more by end of year. I just think it's going to be easier to know what's what. And it won't result in many more free kicks either. I think the Sandford only average about 2 extra free kicks per game, so it's not that much at all. I think it will speed up the game too. No word on Sandy? No, I haven't heard, James. Not sure if anyone else has, but it's interesting that, we still haven't heard on him. Dow's been told he's got to wait and to see what happens with the other list spots. You would think that one of Dow or Sonzi will get another year, but I would do both personally, but I'm not so sure that that's going to be how it's going to play out. Zach Butter's not leaving Port this year. Well, if he doesn't leave this year, I'm sure us and every other club will have a crack next year if he doesn't extend. It's not the worst thing. I said this for a little while that I don't think it was the right time to get him this year. Just with where we're at. Next year, with another year of experience under our belt, I know he gets a year older too, but it might fit a bit better if we still want him to chase. The club said it. Where did they say it? I haven't seen that. That seems like a bizarre statement to put straight out that we're going to trade our first 2 picks for experience. I'm pretty sure I've heard the club talk about taking young kids. If someone can point me to the direction of that would be interesting. That would be interesting. Why are we pursuing Roses? What's he good at? I did bring up his stats because I knew I was going to get asked this. So, look, I guess I think it's going to be a domino effect. I think that he will help release someone like a Seth Campbell higher up the ground. I'm just going to bring up his draft profile because that's what I was reading earlier. So he can play as a small forward, can play as a midfielder. In the VFL for the Suns, he has been playing a bit of midfield as well. In terms of some of his disposals, where are we? Disposal. So there's been games where he's gotten 25, 22, 19, 17, 23, 21. Then there's been some 13s and 12s, 15. So his lowest disposals for the 2025 season was 13 disposals. Typically, we'll get like his tackle numbers. Have a look at his tackle numbers. I'm reading from top to bottom for the VFL games for the year. 2025. 5, 4, 2, 3, 4, 4, 6, 2, 5, 1, 4, 2, 3. So he's getting some good tackles per game. He's kicked 4 goals against us. A couple of singles in other games, 2 in another one. So he does a bit of everything. And I think, look, sometimes players just find themselves on the outer at a club and can't crack in. And that doesn't mean that they're destined just to be a VFL player rotting in the seconds. They can fit into someone else's system and complement in other ways. So reading it from Malcolm Rose's draft profile, it says his strengths were his speed, clean hands, class, goal sense, defensive pressure, improvement, size. I mean, back then he was obviously a lot smaller, consistency, accumulation, inside work. So the fact that he's been able to work on the inside, the midfield side of his game is good. So I would be interested to know if we view him as being a midfielder or part of the rotation, or if it is just as a small forward or a high half forward to then release someone else. Maybe it's to do both. But sometimes you got to target those types of players to fill a bit of a need for the short term. And it shouldn't cost much, so I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Can I see all 8 lining up round 1? It would be nice, wouldn't it? I think it could. I mean, there's no reason why it can't. The only one who I think might be at risk is Tom Sims, just because of the types of injuries that he's got at the moment. And also one of the other key forwards might miss too, because I just don't see how we fit all of them in at the same time for reasons we spoke about all during the year. So yeah, I think we could see at least 7. That would be my aim. And the youngsters do have a great relationship with him. It was something that was really evident when I was down at the club, is how positive all the relationships are between all of the staff and the players and the staff with each other. Again, a small sample size. I was there for a couple of hours, but it was, end of the season and everyone was still really upbeat and getting involved in a lot of banter and stuff. It was really good. So Richmond do the same thing. Westcoast trading pick 3. I'm all for splitting picks, I think, in this year's draft. I might be wrong. There'll be people out there who disagree with it, and that's okay too. I just think that we can get one good player with our first pick, and then we can maybe get 2 players that are very similar to the next crop anyway with 2 picks. So I would definitely consider splitting for sure. What else have we got? Rose's young small forward. Yes. No, don't worry about Yaron. We can't use that as a comparison. Who replaces Steve Morris? Yeah, I don't know. That was a really interesting one. I didn't expect him to leave. Completely understand why he's left. Family always comes first. The name I've heard that we have spoken to, and I don't know, look, I can't sit here categorically and say it's 100% true that we're spoken to. All I can do is go off what was said. And I've heard that we have spoken to Nathan Fife to see what his interest level might be like in doing something. I'm not sure at what level, not sure what that all entailed, if it even took place. I'm just going off what I was told and just sharing it. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. But no, I don't know. I mean, do you go someone experienced? I'm sure Uze will have connections that he's made along the journey in football at other clubs that he maybe would want to target for that Stephen Morris role. And it will be interesting to see it'll be interesting to see what we shake up, whether we keep people or coaches in the same area, whether we swap them around, or what they do on that front. It'll be interesting. Will CDT lose value? I don't know whether he'll lose value. There's going to be value in him. I just think it's a timing piece. Like, whoever gets him needs to know they're going to have to wait maybe 2 or 3, 4 years before he can do the number 1 rucking. Some would argue the new boundary rules might help, because there seems to be a directive that they want to start favouring athletic ruckmen more than the brutal beast ruckmen. So that would help Duff Tyler in that sense, as well as Tom de Koning and players like that. So I don't think it will hurt him too much. You'd also love to see us split one of our picks and grab Lindsay coming and roll the dice on Roby, my man. I do have his highlight video up, actually. Hasn't he been a bit of a talking point the last couple of weeks? If he can do it again in another final, he will be bashing on the door, I think, of top 10 to 15 selection in the draft. It's been a pretty incredible couple of weeks for him, if we're being honest. Matthew Boyd, is he a chance? I truthfully don't know, Rocky. I wouldn't be against. If they've got the right credentials and Uze backs them in, then I'm happy to back whatever the club decide. Like I said, I just don't know too much about what connections Uze's got within the footy industry. And there'll be people that he will like and prefer. It's actually a really good question. Like, I would love to know, when it comes to an assistant coach, is it purely Uze's decision as to who he wants? Like, does he poach someone, or is it a Tim Livingston call and higher ups at the club? identify people, then they run it by you. I'd actually really like to know how that works. I might ask that if I get half a chance. Where do you think Josh Smiley, we ranked against this year's bunch? Oh, that's a really tough one, Tiger Team. That's a good question. It's a hard one to answer. I mean, we can only go by the Smiley we saw in the under-18s, really, because we didn't see him play a hell of a lot this year, unfortunately. You would have to say he would still be in the top 5 in this year's draft crop, I think. But that's going off his under-18 performances. Oh, Oxy, tell me about it. Remove the stand rule. Agree. It's a waste. It's a waste. But yeah, it is what it is. Why? It's a good question from Sam. Why are we the only club that never stand the mark and put pressure on the kicker? Instead, we walk away and give them extra meterage. It's an interesting one, and you're right. It's a very accurate observation. I don't know what the real answer is, but all I'll say is there must be a method to why we do it. I think there's a time and place to do it. I think maybe there's a balance issue where we've got to correct some of it. But again, I don't know the ins and outs of what they're trying to do. I don't mind giving the extra meters when it's deep in our forward line, because sometimes you can set your zone up. Typically, it's all about setting your zone up further down the ground to create a turnover and trying to force a kick to a certain spot, and then you sort of rebound from there. But I just feel like that at this infant stage, not everyone's totally on the same page with how that all works, and we don't get our zone set up quick enough, and sometimes it doesn't work. And I think you've got to be careful as well. If you are going to stand back off the mark, you've got to be careful who that player is too. Like, I really don't like it when Tom Lynch is that player, because players get around him so easily. I think we've got to be a bit more clear on that as well. Is there a chance we go for a ruck in this trade period? I don't think this trade period, but I won't be at all shocked, and I don't think anyone else would be if it was next trade period or one very, very soon thereafter. There's no denying we have to draft or trade in for a ruck at some point. Samson Ryan might surprise us all, right? I know not many people will agree with that, but yeah, his game in the final against Brisbane wasn't so bad, and he's coming into the age now where he needs to be firing on all cylinders. If it doesn't happen this year, it's probably never going to, in terms of it all clicking for him. And I really hope it does, because we've shown some faith in him. He's shown at times he can do it. It's just a consistency in doing it at a higher level for longer. And yeah, it'd be great to see him get there. But if he doesn't, then yes, we will need to trade in. We're linked to Ned Moyle, are we? Interesting. Yeah, I thought I heard Uze mention that as well too, about using the picks. They won't give much of that away though, which is fair enough. Yeah, Ned Moyle would be an interesting option. And look, that's a good point too, Josh, that the tackle numbers and the pressure will be low, because for some reason we did give up a shitload of uncontested possessions. I think we actually reduced it in the last game or two, but there was a stretch in the middle there where we were giving up almost plus 100 on a weekly basis, which is not really good to do. It just means you can't pressure, you can't tackle, you can't cause turnover in your front half, a whole raft of things that it doesn't help with. So that's definitely a part of our game we need to improve on. Like, I don't think there would be a hidden logical reason as to why we would allow that to happen. And I think it's something we need to address and fix. Next year, if we went for Butters plus Duffy, at least Armstrong, maybe Walker. Well, we wouldn't need, someone correct me if I'm wrong, we wouldn't need anything for Butters if he's a free agent. Armstrong will be the one. I think he could be in the top 15, the top 20 area. Walker, we obviously know is going to be top 5, but that's father sunbound. The unknown is what the ruling is going to be from the AFL on the lockout. Clubs, including Carlton, are now protesting it, and I get it. I would too. But the AFL do seem hell-bent on bringing in a rule of some kind. Maybe they'll start smaller. Maybe it'll be a blockout on the top 5 or the top 8 instead of the whole first round, for example. But that would still impact Cody Walker and Carlton, so that's great. That's a thumbs up for me if it impacts them. I don't think it would impact Armstrong if they did top 10. He's had a good year, and he might rip it apart next year. So it'll get close, maybe, with him. Daffy and Lees is still very early to tell what rounds they'll go in. Lee's had a really, really good. I hope. I apologise to him if he's listening, because I did mention the scoreline on an Insta post and he sent me a sad face because they did lose the prelim to Sturt, but he had a really good game. I'll read out the stats quickly, and I apologise, mate, if you're listening. I'll have to get you on for a chat as well. But in the prelim final, so it was Sturt up against the Eagles, so Louis Kellaway against Jack Lees, which is always nice when the potential Tiger Cubs are going head to head. But yeah, Louis Kellaway for that one had 21 disposals. 21 disposals, 5 marks, 5 tackles, 4 clearances, 5 inside 50s. So I will work on trying to get some footage of this as well. And Jack Lees had 23 disposals, 7 marks, 2 tackles, 2 inside 50s. And he was leading the way for Woodville for quite a period of time in that game. So, yeah, it's Daffy Lees are going to be the ones that we don't know where they end up just yet. So they're going to have big years next year. So there's lots of positive signs to come for them. Yeah, this one, Christian, I received a couple of messages about this, just asking the question, and I've not heard anything. So there's been somewhere posted somewhere that Jaden Short seen at Alberton. Is there any founded truth to this? Is it just a rumor in a chat group or something? Has anyone got any light to shed on that one? It seems like an odd place for him to go and tour, if I'm being totally honest. If he was to go somewhere, I would have thought someone like a North Melbourne or I don't know, like that. Yeah, someone like them would go after him. That seems a bit strange. But can anyone confirm that one? For people who aren't aware, Alberton's in South Australia, so it would be linked to either Adelaide or Port. Cap, what's going on? Yeah, the navicular does worry me, Justin, not going to lie. Like, they can be real tricky ones to get over. So I'm not holding my breath for him to play early, and I'm more than happy for them to take their time with him as well. Split pick should be done in this draft. I think so too. I think normally you would say not to split picks. Like last year, for example, probably wouldn't have been the draft to split picks. This one kind of feels like you could. There's been people smarter than me that'll tell me otherwise, though. Sardis was mentioned, and then sure enough, a few days later, it comes out that he's exploring options and maybe going to, who was the team he was linked to? It wasn't us. They said he was trying to get somewhere. I can't remember the team. So there you go. So Tiggs was on the money that he was wanting out. And if we've expressed interest, but if he doesn't want us, then that's okay. What would he do for us? I mean, he would have to form part of a midfield half-forward rotation, but everyone's knocking his kicking. I truthfully haven't seen enough of him to justify that call or not. But again, if the club wanted him and he wanted us, I'd back them to be making the right call. Yeah, that would be nice, John. That would be nice. I've heard that we might have asked the question. Lindsay, Grill, Cumming, and Hibbins-Hargreaves would be fantastic. Yeah, any of those players I think would be good. Would be very good. That's right. It'd be a full circle. He'd finally get his chance to be at the club that he supported as a kid. Which clubs have the most coveted IP at the moment? I would say that people would be trying to get. I would have said Collingwood's IP, although they're low in the middle of the year, maybe changes things. But funnily enough, the Collingwood's IP was derived from our IP, so it's kind of something we already know. The one that would be interesting, I think, might be Adelaide in terms of their rise up the ladder and how they've gone about things. They could be one to look at and model yourself on. Even Hawthorn would be another good one with how they've risen up, but Adelaide might be at the front of the queue possibly now. So Sean Grigg would be a good get. I don't know whether he would leave, though, to be honest. They've got a good thing going, so I'm not sure whether we'd be able to get him. On X tonight, there was vague comments around opening round in 2026. Have we lost it to Collingwood? Hope so. Opening round, I'm not sold on it. Either play everyone in the opening round or just make it round one. I really don't like the amount of buys and shit that we've got. It drove me nuts. I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything about the fixture. I don't even know if the AFL know anything about the fixture yet. It would be the last thing on their mind at the moment. But maybe they marquee ones, they might have some more planning around. But no, I'm not too sure. I actually haven't got Roby in my top 10, but he's getting awfully close. Very, very close. And we've got Rancy at the Suns as well. Doesn't it hurt to see Rancy on the sideline in a bloody Gold Coast shirt? Jesus, it kills me. I suppose Treloar's only in the VFL because the Bulldogs are being ultra conservative. The last couple of times they've rolled him into the team, he's hurt himself. I think I read somewhere that if he gets through the rest of the finals, are they still in for the Bulldogs? I don't know how dated this information is. That if he gets through the rest of the finals for the Dogs, that they'll offer him another year or so. But I think the boat sailed for us in Treloar. I don't think it would work now. Do I know any trade picks from another AFL team for a player to come to the Tigers? The only ones that we've heard that we've expressed interest in was, Sardis, Roses, and, I mean, the Hollands one is kind of not founded, but it just some solid speculation and it would maybe make sense. But we have put a hat in the ring for Harley Reid, but obviously he opted to stay, which is fine. I just don't know whether there was enough of the right player type available for us this year. The one I wanted was Ed Richards, but he obviously signed as well, which was a bit annoying. Yeah, his hammies are a bit interesting. Yes. Well, hopefully there's more to come in this space, Greystoke. Hopefully there's more to come in this space. Whether it's at press conferences or other stuff, I'll fill you all in when I'm able to do so, and when and if anything eventuates. I'll say when. I want to manifest it into a positive way. But no, the club are really happy with how the press conference went. I was too, and everyone else listening seemed to be as well. So I think we ticked all the boxes, and hopefully we get some chances to do some cool stuff with the club in the future. What else have we got? I just saw this one as well. Yeah, I've been in talks with the club. Yes. Yep. So basically after I left, I sent my contact at the club. I sent her a thank you text, but I said, I'm going to send you a proper thank you email as well. So it's a bit more professional. And then, I shot off an email just thanking the club for the opportunity and how warm and welcoming they all were. And I think it's really important to note that as well, that with a lot of the other content creators I sort of speak to in relations to their dealings with the club, some creators feel like they're at battle with the club that they support, like they're not really embraced and not working together. And I find that really bizarre. Richmond could not have been any more welcoming and warm and open and kind if they tried. It was really, really nice, and it made me feel at ease. And it's probably a large part of the reason why the presser went as well as it did, because I didn't feel like I was on a knife's edge. It was a really comfortable environment. So yeah, the response was positive from supporters. It was positive from the club. They loved it. And yeah, they're keen to do some more stuff in this space. So we're just working on a few different things. I pitched a heap of ideas that I'd love to be able to do. Whether they all get over the line or if any get over the line, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, basically, I just wanted to know what kind of other stuff do fans want to see. I may as well tell you because it's not really a hidden secret. But the things I sort of mentioned, I'd love to be able to help and do something in the space of match simulation. I think that would be a big thing that I'd be able to help with, because that was the one thing as supporters we were all missing in the off season. Like, we're relying on people looking through a fence to give us a match sim report, and Caesar did an amazing job. So I don't want to take away from what Caesar did. But I think that can be something that's elevated with a few little cool looking bells and whistles to it that I could try and play a part in. Would love to speak to like Ry Geishan, but not so much in the sense he's not going to tell us who they're going to draft, but I'd love to do like a more behind the scenes thing and see how it all works, what triggers a player changing in the position, even from a trade perspective, how much input does person X, Y, and Z have. So yeah, there's a few things that'd be cool to do, and even a chat with Uze in the preseason to see what his thoughts on how the players are tracking, what they're progressing with. So there's a few things that I've pitched, and that hopefully, we can get a couple over the line. It'd be kind of cool to do. But I appreciate all the kind words on it as well. Samson Ryan plays. Yeah, he does, but he's got to do it consistently, doesn't he? I'm still holding out hope, rightly or wrongly. Port may very well match Butters. That's a good shout too. They very well could. Look, Reed, I don't know whether we'd trade both picks this year. That would be an extraordinary move. That's a Jones Racing type area with getting all the doozies. I can definitely see you splitting one. I don't think we would do both. I think you still, if you got pick 3 and 4 or 2 and 3, whatever it ends up being, I think you still want to take at least one of those as a high end pick. But it's interesting. I don't at this stage. I don't think you can write anything off. Honestly, I think there's a lot to play out. Sardis is a team with version of Tau. Wow. Are we being harsh there? The opening round, not a fan. Not a fan. You can sip some tea. What are you having for tea, Hawk? Is Dusty an assistant coach next year? Yeah, I've always heard as well that he'd come back to the club. I don't think it'd be as an assistant coach. I'd heard that it'd be more as a mentor, which he kind of did when he came back for, was it Short or Cappy's game? Might have been McIntosh's game. He had like chats with the youngsters and they were just in awe of Dustin Martin, as you would be. So if he was to come back, I dare say it would be as a mentor, not as a coach. And Uze pretty much, I thought, he said as much in his press conference when he was asked about it. That, to me, felt like it was as committal as possible without being official. That's how it come across anyway. Not sure if that was intentional or not. Oh, Nathan, don't get me started on that. Do you think the AFL will let the Eagles keep pick 2 even if they get Starcevic through free agency? Nothing will surprise me, Nathan. Nothing. And it shouldn't surprise any of us. It would defy absolute belief. Like, when you consider the shit they're asking for, they won a flag 7 years ago. And there was someone put a stat out today that a lot of their top first round picks over the last 5 years have all left. So that's on them, right? And the bailout they're getting, in a lot of ways, they should be ashamed of themselves. I really do feel that. But yeah, if they get to keep pick 2 and they get Starcevic and Judd McVie, for example, it just takes the absolute piss of the system. And there will be a lot of clubs up in arms about it. I don't mind if Eagles want help, give them an extra academy list spot or something like that where it's not impacting everyone else who are doing the right thing, especially because they were just won a flag 7 years ago. Like, you got teams like Carlton haven't won a flag for 30 years. Essendon, 7,600 and whatever days since winning a final. Yeah, it awfully hard to justify. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Go on, Hawk Tim. What's the information? I'm a little bit behind, so I'm apologising. I just got to it. Would we look at Uze's son? I don't think we would. I'm not sure we would. It would be a nice story. I just think from Adam's perspective, you just don't want to go down that path. I think it's too murky. It's not worth the shit you'd cop. And like, even at local level, it's not worth it. Like, I didn't even want to coach my 6-year-old's under 7 Auskick tournament because I didn't want to be involved in it. But then I've also put my hand up to be assistant coach next year. I don't think we would do it. It's too risky. But he did kick a bag of goals, didn't he? So that was good. I appreciate it, Jacko. I think, I've told the guy I'm happy to do anything and everything they would like. And that's what it pretty much is. I'm hoping to just be like the conduit between the fans and the club, get to ask all those kind of questions. Yeah, and that's the thing, Carl. There's been a bit of inspiration taken from what overseas clubs do. It's really popular over there, isn't it? And the soccer do it so well. And I think there's definitely a space and a way that it can be done here that can be beneficial for everybody. So we'll keep working at that. Yeah, I don't know if it will help Samson or not. Hopefully it does. I like I said, I know I'm in the minority holding out hope for Samson Ryan, but we need another ruck to come along, don't we? Just from a timing perspective. Although I have liked Hayes Brown's work, but yeah, it would be nice. Well, they could. Next year worries me a little bit. It worries me from a supporter perspective standpoint because what we don't know yet is we don't know if we overachieved this year. Maybe in a lot of ways we did. I don't know. But I could I can definitely see us playing better football next year, but maybe not winning as many games. And that might be hard to swallow for some supporters. Like the Carlton game, we may not win that again in round one. I know they're losing a few players, so maybe we will. Gold Coast, I can't see us beating them again. Dimmer's not going to let that happen. So there's a few games that we won that we maybe won't be able to the second time around, but then maybe we pick up a couple of wins elsewhere. It just depends on the progression, I suppose. Or Hawk Team, you reckon that Sammy Law's getting a new number? Any hints? Any hints? Is it single digits? Lockie, yeah, I've got a Cahoots quiz for later on. It's not footy based. We might run a couple just so more than 10 people can have a go on separate occasions, but we'll see how we go. I'm assuming it'll work through this program. I didn't use this program last time, StreamYard. I used OBS for the last stream, so we'll have to see how it goes. Yeah, I know, Samuel. It's what they're asking for is just batshit crazy. It's like, could you imagine if we put our hand out for something as well, Jones Racing? We would get laughed at. That's a big call, Samuel. Lawler to win our BNF. I'll take it. Wonder where. I mean, if he finished top 10, I'd say that's a pretty good outcome. Is top 10 too low? Would you go top? I don't know. It'd be awesome for him to have a really good year, though. Dusty, not going to make us a mentor, but a procreator. Good lateral thinking there, Grace. I like it. Awesome number suggestions. Lawler 4, Smiley 9, Houghton 33, Armstrong 8, and Jonty will get Lynch's number. I don't think that Houghton will change numbers. I think he'll keep 24 forever. I remember there being a bit of a link and a tie into Kobe Bryant. So it seems like it's a pretty special number to him. So I don't see him changing. The other ones could most definitely happen. Maybe not next year, though. I wouldn't be against sitting out another year and just seeing how things unfold. What else we got? Seba, look, if anyone takes Hollands, whether it's us, West Coast, whoever, no one's giving up anything more than a third or fourth rounder, unless they use it in the trade for Chessa or whatever they're doing. But the Blues are just too keen to say, see you later. So no one's coughing up too much. So that you're not going to lose out on a third round pick, I wouldn't have thought. Yeah, Darcy Wilson's one I wouldn't have minded. I would have really liked him, but doesn't seem like it's going to play out that way. And Windhagen was another one I would have liked too. But, there seems to be a bit of a bidding war for him at the moment. And I haven't seen our name linked anywhere in that space, but I'll have to see. How are you, mate? Absolutely, he's got a chance with Selena Gomez. Why not? Just send her a cheeky slide into the DMs. Use that Riz and you'll be fine. I'll have to get you back on as well, mate, to talk some Tiger stuff. Maybe our rankings we don't need to do, but we can talk about some other Richmond shit for sure. So make sure you get around centre half bench as well, folks. Get around the channel. Not unrealistic. Yeah, 8 wins. I know, like, we were 2 goals away from getting an extra 3 wins, which is crazy. But, yeah, how will it pan out next year? Like I said, I can definitely see us playing better football and not winning as many games, which would be interesting. How would people feel that? So let's say we play better football week in, week out next year, and we only win 4 games, but we don't have anywhere near as many 60, 70-point losses. Let's say we halve that amount, whatever the amount was. Let's say we halve it. Would people still then view that as a successful year if we played better football, reduce the margins that we're losing by on a weekly basis, but other teams were just better than us and we couldn't get the win or more wins than last year? How would people feel about that? Andrew, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it being sold to New South Wales or Tassie. My preference would be Tasmania, just because we've got some more natural ties there. And the reason why I'm okay with it is because both deals that were spoken about were for 1 year or 2 years maximum. And A lot of people were very quick to reference the failed Cairns saga that we had, which I understand. But the difference for me is if we do it now, it's not going to impact our ability to play finals football. Like, we're not going to be a finals contending team in the next 2 years. That's just the reality. So if we do sell a Marvel game to play interstate, and we lose that game, it's not really going to be detrimental. And the other reason why I'm okay with it is because we've got the redevelopment that's not fully funded yet. Like, we still need to find, is it 20, 25 odd million to fund the rest of it? If we don't do things like this, maybe it comes out of members' pockets through different avenues, or it doesn't get done at all, the last part of it. So I think the reasoning behind it makes sense from a business perspective. But like I said, the preference would be Tassie, but I truthfully wouldn't care either way if it's just for 1 or 2 years, because I just don't think it will impact us negatively on field. And yeah, it's why not? Why not? But once you start winning again, then you go, no, we want as much advantage as we can get on our home deck. Make sure you hit the like button as well, folks, and subscribe on YouTube if you're there. We've got 163 viewing on YouTube and 20 likes. Let's try and get that up to at least 80 likes. Help the algorithm out. Help a brother out. We are charging towards 3,700 subscribers as well. So we're kicking some goals there. Kicking some goals. People need to temper expectations. Yeah, I see it's either winning the same amount of games or less. Agree. Like, I know we shit can North Melbourne and we joke about it. Their ladder position this year, we got extraordinarily lucky, in my opinion. I think that their ladder position doesn't reflect how good they probably, or how much they improved as a team. For whatever reason, they just weren't able to convert some of those wins, and we were able to. For all intents and purposes, that pick should have been in the high, like in the 10s area. But we picked the right year. We won out on the deal. But I don't see them staying down. I think they'll be back up. Look, Essendon might struggle again. Carlton might struggle with the exodus of players. St Kilda are going to be, if they don't improve, they're in a world of hurt. West Coast will be around the same as us again. I'm not sure who else really falls, though. Port Adelaide, new coach, they might kick on. So there's a good chance that we'll still be, it's almost very certain we'll be close to bottom 4. Very good, Grace. No problem at all. No problem at all, Dave. I think it's good that we all talk Richmond stuff. Like, I love seeing all the different views and opinions because, like I've always said, that whilst we all may not agree on everything all of the time, that's okay. But it all comes from the same place, and we all are trying to get to the same end goal. We just have different visions of how it works. Who do I want to see play from the grand final? The moment I saw the fixture, the bracket, I always felt it was going to be a Geelong-Brisbane grand final. Geelong, I know they've had the easy run in, but they're fresh. They're like fully fit, and they're playing really well. Collingwood really surprised me against Adelaide, to be honest. I didn't expect them to put in that type of third quarter, so they are definitely back in the mix. And I wouldn't want to be playing Hawthorn on any given week either. If they get their tail up, they'll be hard. But I still do think it's going to be Geelong and Brisbane is still my guess. Yeah, I think so too with the number 4. I'm typically not too sentimental, but with like footy Guernsey numbers, but I'm okay if the young kids we've got now keep their same numbers for another year or so. Yeah, I'm going to have to do a video on this, Skoodush. I've got to have a look at the free agency list and get back to you. I haven't, actually, I'll try and find it now. Let's see if we can find, I'm not even sure if it's out yet. AFL free agency list. Do we have a list? A complete list of AFL players who are off contract at end of 2026. So this doesn't really tell me, though, if they're restricted or unrestricted or eligible. That's annoying. Maybe we'll have to do some more research into that part of it. But I'm sure there'll be some good players. 6 to 8 wins. And true, maybe we do win more games if the margins reduce. That is a possibility. Wins, losses are irrelevant at this stage. Yeah, I agree. Everyone loves to win, of course. It's also about the percentage as well. Like, you want to see that percentage increase. You'd love to be at, like, I know this is still a low number, but you'd love to be at 73 to 78% plus next year. You don't want to be in the 60s. There you go, to Heel's point. Same wins, high percentage would be a good result. I think that's a fair call. Consistency could be the issue, unfortunately. I don't think we'll see consistency for another couple of years, just until we get players, like a large chunk of players, into that 100 to 150 game bracket. I want to see definitely more additions and involvement of the game plan, more better ball movement constantly, obviously a better functioning front half of the ground. But as to whether it happens consistently or not, I think we still have to just buy our time on that one just a little bit longer. Just a little bit longer. Yeah, I'd definitely rather Tassie as well. I agree. Yeah, there's always a team that will drop off, Craig. You're right. You're right. Yeah, well, Essendon and Carlton are going to struggle next year with the movements there. I mean, can you imagine if Zach Merritt leaves Essendon? Are they losing Jordan Ridley? If Zach Merritt goes, they will be struggling, depending on who they get in. Carlton, I mean, if Charlie Curnow goes and they've lost all their other players, I think McGovern wants to maybe explore. Motlop was another one. I know they're not big names. Just not all's well down at Carlton, so they may struggle. Yeah, I've read that as well about Roses being linked to Sydney because of the job offer for his partner. Look, it may be right. I just don't see how he fits into their side. I mean, they've got Papley. Heaney plays small forward as well at times. Like, I just don't see how he gets games. I'm not sure if that's the right move for him for his football, to be honest. Maybe I'm just being blind by it, though. Who'd want a death ride next year? Oh, yeah, I don't know. You'd want a death ride Carlton or Essendon, I reckon, if you had to pick one. I just think there's a bit of pain in front of those two sides. Yeah, Fawcett, I mean, he's got to play forward, doesn't he? I'm not sure he can play anywhere else. And we've said this before, I love the fact that he's backed himself to sign on for another year and make a big difference. So full credit to him. And look, I don't know how, when, and where he slots into the team, but I hope he gets his chance and he makes the most of it. He didn't do much wrong when he played in that game that Lynch missed. Will be good as the AFL let us be. Sub-rules scrap next year. Yeah, good question, Heels. What sort of player takes the fifth interchange spot? Really, really good question. When this was first being floated, my initial thought was a second ruckman. Whether that's Samson Ryan, Hayes Brown, whatever it might be. But then you just can't help but feel that with the way the game's going, it's going to be another runner. The fifth interchange spot could actually be really good value to us for Prestia playing more games. Like we always talk about wanting to manage minutes and stuff like that and get other kids into the midfield. We still need someone like Prestia playing because he's going to teach them and he's still putting out good games. But having that extra interchange spot, I think, gives us a bit more flexibility. But yeah, I'm glad the sub thing will hopefully, it sounds like it'll be gone, and that'll be a good thing for football. It just doesn't fit the modern day, I don't think. The players they're bringing in, though, I know they might not all mesh straight away, and it's a big gamble what they're doing, but surely De Koning's going to offer them a bit more than Marshall. Marshall's a good ruckman, and Wintager plays all right too, but you would like to think they can offset that with the players they've signed. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of pressure on, like you said, Campbell's and Sam Banks and Tom Brown to go to another level again next year. Like, we can't expect too much improvement from the 2024 draftees. You still want to see improvement, but we can't expect them to go from first-year players to fully fledged midfielders. Like, it won't happen. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what we do. Is it defeaters or is it realistic? Like, if we have the same conversation in same time next year, and people are angry and up in arms because we haven't won more games. Have they been defeated, or have they just not been realistic with where the team's at? I think it's just being realistic. We're not at that stage yet that we're not a guarantee to win more games. We'd like to. I think everyone wants to, but I think there's nothing wrong with having an element of realism about where we're at as well, and understanding the list dynamic and where it's at and what that might look like for the rest of the season. But yeah, I suppose everyone watches and does it all differently. Yeah, I think he's lucky to still be around, I reckon. It's not been a good start. What are we, 0-4 in the AFLW? I think we've lost, I think Brennan's out this week, and I think Mackenzie might be out too. So they're not going great. And once you're 0-4, it's almost season done, isn't it? So it's not been a great year for the AFLW program. And there's starting to become a lot of angst in amongst supporters anyway, wanting to see some improvement there because we've got some good players, but just not getting the job done. What else have we got? I agree, Morgs. I think next year too we will spend big money as well. We're going to have to. We've got the money to spend. So, which question was it answering? Because I've got ChatGPT on my phone. I do have it. I was in the free agents. Oh, here we go. Unrestricted free agents in 2027. Okay, so that's the year after. Keys, Cottrell, Cripps, DeGoey, Schultz, Langford. Geez, there could be a few names worth considering. I mentioned this one at the start, Morgs. I like it. And it's not last touch, it's last possession. There's a big difference. It's worked. I do watch a bit of the sample because of the videos that I do with the edits, and I think it works really well. If it's a kick or a handball that goes out, it's a free against. If it's spoiled, if it bobbles out or deflects, whatever it might be, it's a throw in. It's pretty clear cut and simple. It's easier to adjudicate. There's no interpretations that pisses off the fans. I think it'll be a win long term for sure, and it's been implemented for 10 years at SANFL and AFLW level, so it should work fine, I reckon. Will we trade any players this year? I mean, it felt like we were going to trade Blight, but I can understand why it went as a delisting instead. Does Sonzi gain interest from someone? I mean, the one who I think we're at risk of losing is Tyler Young. That's the one who I'm worried about losing, and would love to keep him. Would absolutely love to keep him. But I also think the Bulldogs are going to be very desperate to get someone, because it sounds like that Wilkie's not going to leave, even though they've thrown a shitload of coin. I think St Kilda will manage to keep him from what you read. And the Bulldogs have shown interest in Young. And from what we were told, Grock and I were told yesterday from someone with a relatively good source on this, is that Young's got 3 offers in front of him at the moment. And if Richmond come to the party and match the biggest offer, whatever that looks like, that he'd be happy to stay. And I don't think money's the issue. I mean, money-wise, we can match whoever we want, within reason, I guess. I reckon the issue is the length of contract. So my gut feel, I think that we're offering 2, which takes us to when Tassie come in, because Tassie are going to trade all of their picks to get experienced players in, and we maybe want to see what that looks like. But I reckon someone like the Bulldogs might be offering 4 years. And at his age, and this is his chance to make the most of a big contract right after some good performances this year. So I can't blame him. And I think that could be the sticking point, is the years on the contract, because he might get that extra security, which you can't blame the guy for. So he's the one I'm worried about losing. And again, I'm just saying what was said, but there was talk that the Bulldogs might be desperate enough to include their first round pick. I'm not saying a straight swap. I'm not even saying they will do it. It was just what was said, that they may be in consideration, and maybe that looks like we have to give something else back. I'm not sure. But all I'm saying is, before people shit can it, don't discount what a club will do, or the lengths the club will go to, who believe they're in a window to fill an absolute need right now. Because for the Bulldogs, getting a key defender in who's capable, who's got skill, is of far greater value right now than what pick 10 is. Especially when that pick 10, in reality, will be about pick 16 or 17. So just keep that in mind, that clubs will do they will go all in if they have to. So if he does go and we can make it work, then they'll make it work. But I reckon the priority would be to keep him. We do have some good depth there too, though, it must be said. Pierce, I think Miller would be of interest, wouldn't he? Sicily, we get Chol back. Max gone. Jeez, a few players. Jack Darling, Hunter Clark, Sinclair, Steele, McRae, Marshall. Jeez, there's a few names out there. Lunchtime, how's it going? Love the show. Bob's fair. Tigers on the right path. Have some envy. No, you leave Roby alone. Well, we've got the pick before you, don't we? So, lunchtime, would you be considering Roby with one of your first two picks? Because I guess we've always speculated that you'd be into Duff Tyler, but Roby's starting to fly up the draft boards. If he does a good game again this weekend, it's going to be utter chaos for a lot of clubs. So it'd be interesting to know whether you would, like, a team's going to be ballsy enough to take him, like in terms of our two teams, with one of our first two picks inside the top 10. Is it worth it? Elliot, if Merrick goes, well, I mean, it's what was mentioned that they might have asked the question. Maybe that adds merit to it, dare I say. Handball crazy. Something's got to give there, doesn't it, Jeff? It's just not working. It's just like he's not getting the most out of them. Because it's a pretty talented list, right? It's just not clicking. Justin's all in for death riding Essendon and Carlton. What else have we got? I apologise if I'm a bit behind. Yeah, Young is ready to shine. I agree. There'll still be a fair amount of stoppages, Morgs. I think you'd be surprised, like when you sort of watch even a normal AFL game, the ball going out of bounds from a direct kick or handball probably doesn't happen as often as we think. And when it does, it's typically paid intentional anyway, like almost 8 times out of 10, even if they're wrong. So it might not be as, I don't think it'll be as different as what we think. It doesn't, like when watching the Sandford games, it doesn't come across any better or worse. It just looks the same. Yeah, that's where my thought went to as well, Dave, with the second ruck. But there's going to be so many different ways to do this fifth player on a bench, which is good. Who are we taking pick 2, Jack, if CDT is gone? So, I mean, I've been on record a few times as saying that I've been pretty all over Josh Lindsay, but in recent times, I've really sort of moved towards Sam Cumming now. I think he's a bit more of a complete player, and I start to get a bit nervous when talking about a halfback as pick 2 or 3, and that's not to take away from Josh Lindsay. He's a great kick of the ball, but I just feel Sam Cumming, having played against men in the Sandful as well, has some good speed on him. Not high-end elite, but he's quick. I just think he could be one worth looking at. It depends as well who slips, right? Dersma would be the other one. If Dersma gets through West Coast, I think we have to seriously consider that too. And the interesting one will be Dyson Sharp. Love him, good player. I still think that we have a few similar types to him. I just don't know whether he fits us right now. But maybe he's just too good to pass up if he's still there. It all comes down to if West Coast get this pick 2 or not for Oscar Allen, or if it gets diluted and washed away. Zach, but he'd be a good one too, Carl. I like him. I do like him. Okay, so those free agents at Tassie's starting point. She's hawked him. I think we'll have to wait till trade period's over. They keep adding every day. There's a new player added to the bloody list. Damien, big rumour that To Go will retire. Really? Interesting. Maybe you get sent out on a high. Oh, geez, Hills, could you imagine that? What a reception that would be. My goodness. It would take a brave club to do that. Or the Wild, does it sound close, does it, to coming in? Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, they've already got it in the VFL, which we benefited from this year, so that's good. But I don't know. I mean, funnily enough, I actually think it would have been interesting this year because of how the ladder ended up finishing with who was ninth and things like that. It actually would have been quite entertaining to watch. But yeah, I'd want to see how they were mapping it out first before making a call if it's a good idea or not. But if it's coming in, it's coming in, isn't it? Yeah, I'd hate to lose him as well, Clay. My priority would definitely be to keep him. But look, we still do have, and the reason why I think we might be more at risk of losing him is because of what Uze said to me at the presser when I asked about Bolter, that he like categorically sees Bolter as a defender next year. So we know now automatically that Bolter will be in the defence. Miller, they're not removing, and we've still got Gibcus, we've got Campbell Gray, Tyler Young. We can't fit them all in. And I know you've got to have contingencies for injury, suspension, but I mean, where do you draw the line? Like, we can't have 4 contingencies, I guess. So that's the other reason why I think we're a bit more at risk of losing Tyler Young. Yeah, interesting. I mean, I was told that they were just waiting to announce it. I'm not sure what they're waiting for, but yeah, I mean, hopefully it still came through all okay. Yeah, I think if the wildcard round is announced, it will cause a lot of uproar. A lot of uproar. Yeah, we do lose Broad next year. I mean, yeah, it's really hard. Like, it makes sense, right? We lose Broad and we lose Nick Vlastuin in 2 or 3 years. But from Tyler's perspective, he's just played a really good block of senior football, showing he's good enough at the level. Is he then prepared to go back and keep playing in the VFL to try and wait for a spot to open up because we're playing Miller and Bolter? Or do you take the guaranteed AFL time at the Western Bulldogs, hypothetically, in a team competing for the top 8 on 4 years on reasonable money? Like, when you sort of put it that way, it feels like it would be a no-brainer instead of hanging around for a couple of years when you're already 26, 27. I think he's about to turn 27. Yeah, that's it. It just makes sense for, I don't know. I'd love to keep him though. I'm almost talking myself out of it. Oh, that's interesting. Do you reckon is Draper going to get offered that much from Brisbane? I find that an interesting thing as well. Like, they've got Darcy Fort, they've got the Big O. I'm not sure if he's retiring or what his story is, but I'm led to believe he's still playing. They're getting Oscar Allen and Sam Draper. It just seems strange, just with trying to fit everybody in. But yeah, because how much would he need to be getting paid to trigger a pick 6 compensation? That would be extraordinary. But to your point, if you do get that, then that's when you can roll the dice on the player. Oh, is it Casey Fields this weekend? Hello. I might have to venture down. What day are they playing there? I'll have to go and have a look. Reed, do I think Duff Tyler is the biggest gamble in the draft? I don't know if gamble's the right word. I know what you're saying, and I agree with you. I just think teams will get really scared on taking a ruckman that high. And I just think it depends on, if you've already got ruck stocks for the next 3 or 4 years, you would take him because he can develop naturally in the reserves, maybe play a few games up forward as well because he does have some forward craft, and then he can hit the ground running as your number 1 ruckman in that 3 or 4 years span. I don't think we have that luxury at the moment. So he just doesn't fit us, but I think he'll go top 10. In my mock draft, which I'll record a video on soon, I've got him going to Essendon at one of their picks. So what's that, 5 or 6? For you, Essendon will look to trade up for Dersma. Lindsay, former Williams, said Cumming and Taylor will be looked at by the Bombers. You reckon the Eagles will take Duff Tyler? See, a lot of Eagles supporters are dead adamant that they won't. He's a very controversial figure in some interesting ways, isn't he? Yeah, Dersma seems to be the one that everyone is after. What about Sharp? Any interest in Sharp? So we seem to be after the same kind of players, which is not great. There's been other talk / speculation was, for some reason we kept hearing that Essendon could be into Duff Tyler, and that maybe if he slips through West Coast, do we try and stooge you so you trade up with one of our picks and something else to get him before we take him? I think there'll be a lot of mind games happening. And I'm interested to see how many plays we all bid on as well. Hopefully we all bid our asses off. Young goes to Dogs. Riley Garcia to the Eagles. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of ways it can work, isn't there, Damien? Or lettuce, you're all in for wildcard. Top 6 through, get the bye. It just depends on the year, doesn't it? Like some years, 10th side could be shit house, and other years like this year, it could be highly entertaining. Yeah, Bolter will have to... Look, I'm backing him in. I get that it was a really disrupted and a frustrating year for him, but it was because of his own stupid actions, so he has to own that, and I think he did. But he'd want to hit the ground running in 2026 is all I'm saying. And Gray could definitely... He more than holds his own at AFL level. I love what he does. Gibkiss is the interesting one. Where do we play him? Yeah, Shea Bolton. Yes, geez, even Buckley gets slapped for that. I thought Shai's season was exactly what we were telling Fremantle supporters it would be. You get the inconsistencies, but you can also win a game off his own boot. And last year, the argument was always, when talking to Freo supporters, that if they had him last year, they would have made finals, and they had him this year, and they made finals. So I know there's other players that help do that too. It's not just Bolton. But I think he did exactly what we thought he would do. And, yeah, I feel like they'd be happy with the outcome at this moment in time, or maybe less happy because they obviously lost. But, yeah, I think it was still a good trade for him. Hope so, Paul. Hope so. I know. They do these polls all the time and they get slapped. But then we'll see an AFL report saying that, according to a fan survey that they did, that 77 people loved it. But no one ever is a part of that survey. We're on 43 likes on YouTube, guys. Let's try and get that to 100. Get the bad boy up to 100. Smash the like button, folks. It helps the algorithm out. Get us into the big wide world. Who's Broad's replacement? Luke Traynor, I think, would be his replacement. Would be my first thought. Oh, CDT, a big midfielder. God damn. Wouldn't that be interesting? Yeah, I don't know what they could be offering as well. Do they get extra coin? I'm not too sure what they get. 750 to 850K. Like, no disrespect to Draper, I don't think he's worth 750 to 850K. Although, having said that, with the way their salary cap goes up, 750 to 850K maybe isn't as perceived a higher value as what we think it is. Like, it's high to all of us because, well, I won't speak on everyone's behalf, but most of us are plebs who don't earn anywhere near that much. But in AFL scheme of things, it's on the higher end, but maybe it's not necessarily the highest high that we thought it once was. I don't know. Oh, 2 p.m. Saturday for Roby. I might have to get along to that one. I'll check my schedule. Big year for Gibkiss next year, Brent. Agree. I was wrapped for him that he got that game against Geelong. And we all called it from a long way out. But he did deserve it, to be fair. But I still don't know. I've got a feeling he might get trialled forward. I don't know what our forward mix is going to look like, but he's one that I think can be a bit flexible. And it's just, and Uze did say in the presser that we had that there's going to just be a hot competition for spots, which was good. But yeah, where they squeeze in, who knows? Yeah, I did see that, Josh. Carlton are definitely protesting changes to the father-son rule. Personal thoughts, I'm conflicted. Like, I definitely want to burn Carlton. Let that be clear. If we can somehow jag Cody Walker, it would be the funniest thing of all time. In terms of the rule, I have said that I do think what the initial proposal was, like a full first-round lockout, I do think that's really heavy-handed at such short notice because teams do plan multiple years ahead, Carlton included, right? So I do think it needs to be a bit more of a staggered and phased approach if they're going down this path. Maybe it's just the top 8, top 5, top 10 that get locked out instead as a short-term thing. There's probably an easy solution where you just remove the discount, make them have to use first-round picks so they're paying a fair and reasonable price. That's probably what most people would want. But ideal outcome, if it's a lockout and it's the top 5, we can still get Cody Walker, but it won't impact Tanner Armstrong or our father sons. That's your best outcome from a Richmond supporters perspective. But they do have to be careful with it. Honestly, they have to be careful with how they do it because, like I said, the amount of planning, like teams planning years ahead. So they do have to be careful. Probably more in regards to the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs missing out would have made things interesting if they were playing off for a final spot. 100 likes and we win the flag next year. It's as easy as that, folks. I guarantee it. Go on, watch your Jasper Alga facts. I do love Jasper. Or I don't know whether we'd be bold enough to use Gibcus as a pinch hit ruckman. I understand the thought process. I mean, we did it with Bolton. He had a knee issue as well. It would scare me, truthfully. I do know where you're coming from. I just don't know how we fit them all in. Like, there'll come a point where we're going to all try and do a predicted best 22 for round 1. It's going to be tough. It's going to be so tough. Yeah, I know. The Lindsay one's interesting. Like I said, I've been kind of liking him for a while, mainly because, as it comes as no surprise, that we do need people in the side who can kick the footy well because it's something we do lack, and he's one of the better kicks of the draft. But are there more rounded players that you would take fractionally ahead that are midfielders? And that's where Cummings becomes a bit more an appealing prospect, I think. Lindsay should go top 10. But yeah, does someone take it's not really a gamble, but does someone go as hard as putting him in the top 5? Drapey, I've heard around 850K and has a 6-year trigger. Jesus. That does seem like high money for him. Like for what you know of him and his injuries and things like that, does it seem quite a lot? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well, Nathan. Like clubs are going to start shaking the Brisbane Lion tree, you would think. Oh, there you go. You answered my question. Not worth it. Love what Taranto and Hopper are doing for the Tigers, but we lack pace. Could you see any teams asking the question? Well, we had mentioned a little while ago, Reed, that we had heard that Essendon had maybe asked the question on Hopper, and Geelong was the other one that I heard maybe inquired. As to the level of seriousness of the inquiries, because they're still, Hopper's still very much contracted and very much required from our perspective. I don't know if the conversations went further or if they were just asking a cheeky question, or whether how true any of it is. We just heard through various contacts that we have that there was some interest. I think Geelong were keen on him when he left the Giants initially. And if Essendon were to lose Merritt, for example, does that reignite some interest? I'm not at all suggesting that Hopper's the equivalent of Merritt before we get slapped for that. But just as to fill another midfield role, do they gain more interest? I'm not sure. But if we don't trade either Taranto or Hopper out, which I don't think we will ultimately, then to answer your pace question, that's going to come down to managing the players within game. And by that, I mean, we have to, at some point, start one of them as a half forward, one of them in the midfield, along with some kids. Like we cannot, I'll be gobsmacked and disappointed and probably angry if by round 15 next year, even earlier, if we're still seeing Taranto, Prestia, Hopper, Ross as our 4 high CBA attendances, like by a country mile, that would be alarm bells for me. We cannot persist with that mix. It doesn't work. We keep getting exposed, and we need to get the exposure into other players and bring them on. So I think it just means that Taranto, Hopper, and all that have to play a secondary role, half forward, whatever it might look like, which they can do really well. And balance it out that way. Because I do think we have the pace within our own side. We just need them in the right spots to utilize it. Yeah, it's a bit of a cotton on type vibe, isn't it? Yeah, I did hear this too. I'm not sure when they were looking to do this for, Andrew. But it would be interesting to hear how that works, especially with the amount of money that we've got, and if there's a way we can benefit from it. Was it for this year or next year? Not this year, but is it next year? Interesting. And Richard, they could, with who's leaving, it depends on what they get back in. They most definitely could. It's not out of the question. That would be an odds-on chance to happen, I reckon, James Racing, if that was to eventuate. Yeah, the discounts, get rid of father sons altogether. Whatever helps us is fair. That's the attitude. That's what I like. Trent at a half forward. Yeah, I think so too. What did just know? Yeah, Draper for 850k. God damn. Yeah, I think it feels like a lot of that was to do with protecting the players, which I can understand a little bit. But I reckon that we've got to change that mix early next year. And I'm also mindful of the fact that, Lawler, Smiley, Houghton, whoever you were thinking of, they're not going to be mature enough to play full-blown midfield minutes. And this is where it gets tricky because none of them are going to be able to do the same output as Prestia, Taranto, and Hopper, what they can on a day-to-day basis in the midfield. So we have to find a way to get them in there, whilst also rolling those older guys through there so we can still function and get the ball moving. But we've just got to get the balance right. What was the fact? Was it about algorithm? Where did you write that? Fact about Jasper Relga. So I'm scrolling. Yeah, because algorithm. Yep, I did hear that on the club website. All right. I think we'll try and do this Kahoots quiz. We'll see. Like I said, I haven't done it through StreamYard before, so I'm going to see how we go. So if you've got Kahoots, now keep in mind only 10 people are going to be able to officially join, which is super annoying. I understand. I'm working on doing a larger group. But if anyone wants to play, it's not an AFL, it's a logo-based quiz. So I just thought we'd do something a little bit different. Maybe if it's easy enough for me to find more quizzes, we can run a couple of different ones and different people can join. But there's your Kahoot. There's a game pin. There's a QR code. There's all kinds of shit. So we'll see how we go. I'll have to set up a few more quizzes as well. All right, so that should be the 10. All right, let's start. Logo quiz. What is the name of this logo? I was going to say, please pop up. Jesus. Is it Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or Snapchat? This will be, why is that so quick? Oh, because everyone picked it right. I'm like, I could have sworn it was 20 seconds, but you all clicked the answer. Everyone straight on Snapchat. We'll run a second one, Justin. We'll see if we can get some new faces in as well. Who was quickest? Oh, Dingle and Dusty. What is the name of this logo? I haven't seen these ones either, so I'm not too sure. Durga Queen, DeQuonald's Dairy Queen Dendies. Jeez, they could have had a few more creative answers than some of those. Dairy Queen it is. Dairy Queen. Dear. Yep, Dairy Queen it is. There was some speculation they were coming out here, but I'm not sure if that's happening or not. What logo? 25 questions. God damn. Oh, that's Target, Walmart, Myer, Walgreens. Walmart it is. Encourage everybody to get to a Walmart if you're over in America. Very interesting. If you're not in the quiz, we want to type your answers in chat, feel free to. Oh, God. Well, this will be over in about 3 seconds, I reckon. What's that logo? Yeah, it could be American. Like I said, I didn't fully check it. I just thought, a logo one. Let's see what that is. Well, I suppose, it's us and them. Everyone's just gone bang straight onto Tajay. You're all very quick as well. What logo we got next? Oh, Burger King. Oh my God, honestly. Who's typing these answers? At least try and make it somewhat confusing. Dingle on fire. Oh, yeah, country flags. We can try that. That's a good call. Toyota, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Tesla. It's an easy one. Chevrolet. Andrew, do you not know the fact that Baker and Graham created history, the first players to ever win consecutive wooden spoons with different clubs? Holy shit, that's a great fact. Oh, name of that one. McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, Burger Queen. Oh, it's actually not that hard when they put those answers in there. The first quiz just started for you. How far behind you is your stream? We're 9 questions deep. How did it just start? Oh, God, that'll be over in a couple of seconds as well. We'll do a flag one next. Dingle and Dusty just duking it out. Tank's up there as well. Tigerland creeping up the board. Yeah, I just didn't have time to put together stat questions. Actually, I did put into Chat GPT maybe a week or so ago to spit out some multiple choice questions. So I might have to revert back to that and create a few more Richmond stat quizzes. And increase the participant size too. Apple, or someone went iPhone. Oh, they got stooged. Papa John's, Pizza Shack, Pizza Hut, Little Caesars. Pizza. I think there's only one Pizza Hut left in Victoria that you can eat in at. And I'm pretty sure, is it Ballarat or Bendigo? One of the two. How's that? 17, 19, 20. Yeah, there's plenty of draft content to come. I've got my mock draft, well, for the first 10 picks anyway, sorted. I've got to just record the video on it. So we'll get that done in the coming days or whatever it might be. And then it's just going to be finding some more videos on some more plays. I want to do a video of some of the Sandful boys as well, especially some father-son prospects. Oh, everyone loves the Xbox. Got to find a shorter quiz here, I reckon. 25 questions. God damn. The Burger King. There we go. Just repping the brand of Vanilla Shake. I was going to do a generic sports quiz that someone else had already made, but a lot of it was like really heavily American based that I'm like, oh, I don't know how that will go. And I found a few AFL ones, but some of the shit was wrong, which was weird. Oh, Amazon, FedEx, UPS, USPS. On Amazon. But once I unlock a few of the features on here, I'll be able to sort of make more Richmond-centric ones. Yeah, it is a bit like Yankee Toddlers. Close at the top, though. Dingle, Dusty, Tank, Carl, and Seth. It's very, very close. Macy's, Target, Marty's, Home Goods. Is there one player in our draft range who you really don't want us to draft? It sounds harsh, but I don't want to draft Duff Tyler. I just don't think we need that player type. I think he'll be a good player. I just don't think he'll be good for us. Yeah, or a tall forward, Justin, to your point, or a tall forward. It's funny because Mitch Marsh has been floated as well, who obviously was playing forward for South Australia, but he could play on a wing. Like he did play some wing during the year. Pretty good skill set. So like if you're going to do that and play him as a winger, you probably don't mind it so much. But yeah, there's no need for us to take a fully fledged key forward. If we do, I'd be asking some serious questions as to why we would do that. Oh my God. It just wouldn't make sense for us. Like, is it Ludwig? Is he probably the highest ranked key forward from memory? Dingle starting to run away with it. A couple of questions to go. Oh, this will be interesting if people get that one. Oh, everyone did. You're all gamers like me. Oh my God. That's been a shit quiz. Not going to lie. I'll do better next time. I'll make the quiz myself next time. We thought we'd give one a go, a pre-made one. Oh, the podium finish. Dusty third. Tank second. First. Well, you get a little bit of a spotlight. Dingle. Congratulations, Dingle, on winning the logo quiz. Gee, it's not the same as a sports quiz, is it? That's right. Look, it works fine as a little bit of fun and a point of difference, but I'll be a bit more specific on the quiz next time, I reckon. I'll have to try and find if there's a few more existing Richmond ones, or I'll utilize ChatGPT and make a few up. And we'll out of interest, I know that wasn't the ideal quiz. That to one side. If it's a sport or Richmond-based quiz, do we think we'll have enough interest to garner like 25 to 30 people playing? I reckon we will, because I want to make sure I can justify going up to a different plan. So if everyone's keen to play, I'll work on that over the coming weeks. But I definitely still want to do more quizzes, but I'm just going to make sure they're more relevant. Dingle's an appropriate win. So, any other draftish or footy-related questions before we wrap up? And I'll work on my quiz game. We covered off Tyler Young. We covered off possible trades, draft stuff. I think we covered most things, didn't we? And hopefully everyone finds nights like these productive and useful. Something a little bit different. No, I was going to do another one, but I just can't trust what is going to be in there. I probably need to fact check that one before I did it. We'll do another live soon though, and I'll get some proper quizzes built into it. So the other thing I was wanting to do was like a tier list, but there is, the website that you usually do it on is cooked at the moment, absolutely cooked. We'll do Flags Cahoots on the next live. I'll find one and I'll make sure that it's all good. Maybe even GeoGuessr. Maybe we can do some GeoGuessr one time as well. That's good fun too. But who do you want to pick in the draft? I think at the moment, I'd be happy with Sam Cumming with our first pick. Is where I've landed at the moment, but that could change. It a little bit depends on who West Coast get and if they get 2 picks or not. I think if Dersma's there, you have to take him. If he's not there, if the problem is going to be is if they take Dersma, and then we've got to decide between Sharp, Cumming, Lindsay, whoever else. That's what will be a really interesting thing to see how it plays out. It'll be very interesting. People saying whatever crack at Flags. Hang on a sec. All right, we'll see if we can find one. I'll find like a 10-question one. 46 questions. No way. Guess the flag, 7 questions. There's country specific ones. We'll do any danger of having not 20, but not 7. Flags of the Oceania. Flags of football. 20 seems like the world flags, country flags. 30 questions, 23, 47. We'll go flag quiz level hard. Oh, no, then you can cheat if I do that. There you go. 12 flags. Big Bang Theory quiz. No news on Riley Sanders. I won't be shocked if he goes somewhere else. I don't know why he's not getting played. Agree, Neil. It would be awesome to have Dusty as a mentor. It would be very good. All right. Flag quiz. Last one for the night. It's a hard one too, so I don't know what the flags will be, but you all asked for a flag quiz, so we get a flag quiz. Very hard. I'll get the next package with more can play next time. More fun that way. Oh, I reckon. Well, I better not say what I reckon. Yeah, I would have gone Trinidad and Tobago. There we go. Wheel of Fortune Simulator. Oh, and into a Wheel of Fortune Simulator and into old players' names. Do love a wheel spin. Second question, second flag. Madagascar, Benin, Guinea, Mali. Oh, I would have gone Madagascar for that one, so I would have got that one wrong. Well done to the two people who got that one right. Was that a guess or did you know? I get a funny feeling that Hawk Tim's a bit of a flag shark. Oh, Uganda, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Togo. Oh, yeah, this is a tough quiz. Uganda. 3 people correct. Use the wheel. We have to guess the number. Yeah, we could do that. Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Brunei, Ukraine. Oh, surely that's the orange one. Yeah, by process of elimination. This is good. I can even look at the footy number game next time as well if I'm using OBS. It works better on that. Kenya, Malawi, Sudan, Libya. I don't reckon I've seen half of these flags. 6 people got that right. It's impressive. Hawk Team has got all of them correct. What do we got for this one? Singapore, Indonesia, Poland, Pakistan. Not sure about the spelling of some of these answers. Eight correct. All by Dusty Fan climbing up. Question 7. I can't help it, Grace. There's only room for 10 people. So as soon as it hits 10, it starts. So yeah, I can't help. But I'm going to maybe invest in the next level up so more people can join. Birdman, welcome. We're just wrapping up the stream with a flag quiz. We did a logo quiz, and then we got some demand for a flag quiz. Republic of Congo. Democratic Republic of Congo. Togo and New Guinea. Oh, 4 people got that right. Jesus. Hawk team with an 8 correct streak. Yeah, you are a flag guru. I don't know how you could. I don't reckon there's any way to cheat in this. Well, it's ultra impressive, though. Qatar, Bahrain, Belarus, Poland. Just the vanilla shake. Just the vanilla shake. Qatar. A good little hack from Macca's is you get I didn't do it this time because it's in the evening, but a vanilla shake with a shot of espresso, and you get like a little cold coffee milkshake. I know they do frappes, but it's a little bit different. Never seen that flag before in my life. If I was to guess, I would say Vatican City, but I don't know. Do not know for sure. Malta. Hawk Tim with 10 correct answers. This is ridiculous. Second last one, then we're going to wrap it up. Hawaii, Haiti. Oh, God, good. I'm not even going to try and say those last two. Well, Mayotte, I think, is the last one. The hash browns are good, but they're like $3.50 or $4 for a single hash brown now. Like, what is that shit all about? The McGriddles aren't bad either. I do like the pancake tasting buns, whatever they do. I'll give you another recommendation shortly. We'll finish this and I'll give you all a drink recommendation for energy drink likers out there. Geez, Hawk Tim has shit this in. I don't know how he's done it, but he's got every question right. That is fairly impressive. Oh, when the hash browns get stuck to the packet. Jesus. That is the worst. Google Lens. Yeah, that maybe. I'd be disappointed if we had cheaters amongst us. That was ultra impressive otherwise. Yes, I'll get more spots for the next quiz. So the other, if anyone likes energy drinks, I'm not at all promoting energy drinks because I know they aren't always the best for you. But the new one out, which is only in 7-Elevens from Russ Eats. For those of you who are on TikTok, you might have stumbled across Russ Eats. He does like a lot of food reviews and stuff. Aussie guy, very, very funny. His reviews are hilarious. I encourage anybody to check out his TikTok stuff if you do like listening to food reviews that are very blunt and honest. Yeah, he released his own energy drink range in 7-Elevens, and I've only had the original flavor one. Really, really good. Really, really good. The only downside is they're not on special yet. So there's, I think, like $5 or $5.50, which is obviously a bit higher. But they're a bigger can, but a bit higher than what your V's and stuff are. But not bad. They're not bad at all. Oh, the integrity unit. Macca's cookies, they go all right too. They go all right too. Because I wanted to do like a tier ranking, a food tier ranking, an ice cream one, a chocolate one, but the tier ranking website is just absolutely shit. It used to be good, but unless you're going to pay to use it, it is virtually unusable from a stream perspective. It's crazy. It blows my mind what they've done to that website. Well, I don't think you need media credit. Well, okay, I guess you do to turn up as a journalist, but look, the indications were they were really happy with how it went, and hopefully there's more opportunity in the future. I think Livingston even said he'd rather me come down every week than the journos. He's happy for me to rock up. So look, I told him I'm happy to do as many or as little press conferences as you like, and hopefully working on a few things to do in the off season as well, which would be kind of cool. So a bit of a watch this space. Hopefully we can land on a few ideas and get them over the line. I'll invest in some cameras and other equipment to try and bring some things to life if it all goes well. So it's just pretty much a stand with a big backdrop. So they would have got the backdrop printed up at whatever place, and it's it's just a portable backdrop, and they set the camera up, and yeah, all clubs do it. It's really, really good. Funny you mentioned this, Birdman. So I sent the club a list of ideas that I'd had. I think I sent it yesterday or the day before. And when talking about this with my wife and family and stuff like that, that topic was honestly one I was going to include. I think there could be ways to elevate the content that comes out of the preseason camp. One, I thought I didn't put it in my list. I might revisit it. The reason why I didn't include it is I feel like it was a bit audacious to try and suggest that, number one. And I do want to say that Kiwi Tiger does a really, really good job of his vlogs, and I really enjoy them. I do think that you could still have the vlog from Kiwi and a video aspect as well. I do also acknowledge that a lot of the preseason stuff is probably a bit more sensitive and behind closed doors than maybe what other stuff is during the season. So I just wasn't quite sure what I could add or do for them in that space, because I just don't know how under wraps I'd like to keep a lot of that stuff. But I think there definitely could be something in it. I just don't know enough of the ins and outs and what they don't want to say or show for me to be able to justify it at the moment. But I'm definitely open to discussing that. It was genuinely on my list, but I took it off at the last minute because I just thought it was a bit cheeky, and I didn't want to come across like that. Can I ask the club about the boy band? Yeah, that's a good call. There's a few of them. Was it Smiley on the drums? I think I saw. And then is it Lawler and is it Tom Brown both on guitar? And Lawler does a bit of the vocals too. That's cool that they do a bit of different stuff like that. I think it's they've got a bit of talent, don't they, to be able to do all of that. No, I'm not very good at instrumental stuff. I actually don't mind playing keyboard, but I'll kind of just make play by ear. Can never read music. Did try guitar once upon a time, but no luck. Should jump on with True Footy and other YouTubers. Well, tomorrow night, if anyone is keen on finals talk still, so tomorrow night we'll be doing another live show with Pommy and Oz, Kanga TV, so Marnie from Kanga TV and Fiona from Bomber Banter. So we did a final show last week, and it was received really well. It was live on all of our channels at once. All of the chats were combined, so everyone was talking and getting along. It was a really good chemistry, really good vibe, so we're doing that again tomorrow night. I have tried to get in touch with Dylan Alexander a few times. He did message me back a while ago, but then I don't think he checks Twitter as much as I do anyway. So I'm trying to get a friend request accepted on Instagram so I can reach out to him there. But if anyone has direct contact to him, let them know that I'm trying to reach him again to organise to come on for some draft chat. And I did try getting in contact with True Footy as well multiple times throughout the year when we played West Coast, but no luck. I think one time he was in the middle of moving back and forth between Perth and here. It's Jesse, that is. But yeah, so I'll keep working on that because I think the behind friendly lines thing was good. There's probably ways to evolve it and make it better, but I thought it was good to get the insight from other supporters on their team. I don't think you can message on YouTube unless I'm missing something. I could comment on his videos, but yeah, I'd have to try and I would love to get Dill on. And he did say we were almost going to do it back in May, but a bit of, things just kept coming up. So I do want to revisit that. Yes, we are on the Party Bus crew tomorrow night. There's actually going to be a very funny reveal on tomorrow night's show, by the way, that ties into a point that Pommy made the week before. So we'll keep an eye on that. But now it's a really good space. All the content creators, everyone's super helpful and friendly and willing to help out. They've all been amazing to deal with at every level. So yeah, there's a few bits and pieces happening and bubbling away in the background. So hopefully there's more to come from a few different collabs. Yeah, Haslim, nicely there. Haslim, nicely. Oh, welcome, human. Welcome. Nah, Pommy's a good guy, Grace Oak. Pommy's a good guy. Might know a guy. Which guy might you know? Well, it might be exciting for other teams, just not us. I kind of feel left out when we don't do trade stuff. We might, but it's a really tricky one because on one hand, I really love and appreciate how close the club keeps their cards to their chest in regards to all of this. Even to the point, our draft stuff is very close to our chest as well. Blair is very, very good at what he does. I like it, but I hate it because I guess as supporters, we're all really impatient and want to know and want things to talk about, but we don't have it. So I can, I can appreciate it, but be frustrated by it at the same time. Yeah, it's been floated. So maybe that evolves into having a weekly show. And yeah, they're just funny people and the banter's good fun. So we'll see what eventuates from it. We are trying to work out how to do not how to, but when to do a live call of a final game as well. We just need a few things to align for that to happen. So I have to see how it goes. Yeah, and I think EPL, or not just EPL, but European soccer is definitely leading the way in that space and getting fan channels more involved at club level and stuff like that. And that's kind of where the inspirations come from for trying to take this a bit further. And like I said earlier on, I've just been very, very lucky that the club's been super receptive and warm and welcoming to, being able to form a relationship to get something up and running, which is awesome. So hopefully we can keep building on it and, get a few things done in the off season. And like I said, I'll happily rock up every Friday to presses if they want me to. Trade talk via media, reality TV, tutorials, doozies. And I reckon, I know people are a bit divided on SEN as a network, but I feel like they sometimes head down the right path as well, because I think they're exploring having like individual fan commentary channels for games. It looked like that's what they were starting to do, but with the sort of professional higher up people doing it. But if if that water falls down into supporters doing it as well, or YouTube is doing it as well, it could be really interesting. So I think Hutchie, as much as he maybe isn't everyone's type of person, I think he is kind of in that headspace and is trying to go down that path as well, which is interesting. Matt, there's a really good season review video of the Tigers 25 season. That's all Aussie Rules YouTube channel. Oh, nice. Very good. I appreciate that being passed on. We'll check that out. It's always interesting to see what other channels and people think about our season. All right, well, that would be probably a wrap for tonight. I appreciate everyone jumping on for a chat. I know it was very last minute, and I appreciate the last minute response to the polls, and then jumping on to talk. I'll answer this one. Is it weird the club isn't more vocal? I don't think so. I reckon my guess would be that we maybe don't feel like we'll be as directly impacted. I mean, Port Adelaide and Essendon, Carlton, there's probably a lot more at stake for them in the short term. Tanner Armstrong's probably the one at greatest risk for us if they were to do a round 1 lockout. If they did a top 10 lockout, it may not impact us. The unknown is obviously Archie Daffy and Jack Leeson and how they go. I know down the track it could impact us, of course. We probably don't know too much about what that looks like yet. But I can definitely understand why some of those clubs are going vocally much harder at it than maybe what we are. That's not to say we aren't saying anything behind closed doors, I suppose. But there's been nothing publicly made about it, but maybe we just don't feel the need to at the moment. Would be the only thing I can think of. Yeah, so that's the other thing, Dean. It's a good thing you mentioned there. I am looking to do a player rating show for next year as well. That's maybe either the night of or the day after the game. So I will have a look at a few of what the other guys and girls do and take bits and pieces and just try and find a really easy Canva format, I suppose, to be able to do it on. But I'll check it out. I think it's a good show to do because especially when it's raw and emotional as well, whether it's a bad loss or whatnot. And I do need to try and make sure we do fan cams on a more frequent basis, because I think it's important that all of you get your voices heard as well, for whoever wants to jump on and chat, win, lose, or draw. So we'll make sure we do that a bit more frequently as well for the 2026 season. I know. I mean, look, I love doing the live call, like the watch-alongs. It's just annoying that we can't have the stream on the screen so everyone can align or just watch the game on our stream. I obviously get why, but it would be fun to do a proper. Even like I remember seeing a video that Caden McDonald did. He was in they had like a special commentary box where he was able to do something for a Melbourne game, which was awesome. He's obviously a lot more prominent than what we are, but yeah, it'd be pretty cool to do. Yeah, this is a good question. I know we're answering a few more, but it's a good question. I thought Lockwood was part of the NGA, but then someone made a good point that because his draft year was technically last year, does that mean he's now not in the NGA anymore and he's now free hit for everybody? I actually don't know. So if anyone knows that, it'd be handy to find out, because he's had a ripper back half of the year, hasn't he? So hopefully I can find some footage of him in the coming weeks as well. But he's been really good. Like a lot of people talking him up, but I just don't know how the eligibility works, being that he's an overager and not in his actual draft year, if that makes sense. Fiona on Bomber Banter did a video today about, I think it was more in relation to having a deep dive into the assistant coaches and the support around Brad Scott. I haven't watched it all, but maybe there's some things alluded to in there. So maybe even check that out from Fiona on Bomber Banter about the assistant coaching stuff. With 40 listings, that means we're looking at drafting 4 players or trade. Not necessarily, because we do still have some players that are on the rookie status that can be upgraded. So I think Campbell Gray might be one. McKelty Lafau's one. Seth Campbell's no longer a rookie, I don't think. There might be one other, but I think the rookies can stay rookie listed. Is it for 3 years? So maybe there's still another year up their sleeve to keep them there, which obviously we would do. So my assumption would be if we can keep those rookie players on the rookie status, we will. Otherwise, there might be 1 or 2 that need to get upgraded that will absorb some of those spots. And there still could be more to come. Like, we still don't know what's happening with Thompson Dow. We still don't know what's happening with Sonzi. Tyler Young could still yet be traded. So there's still a bit of movement to happen in this next little period. So it's going to be interesting. But yeah, the club's got some big decisions to make in the next few months, which will be interesting. I appreciate that. I'm glad you all enjoyed doing the Q&As. I know it's not exactly structured, but it's just all about, you all asking questions and creating discussion. And yeah, I think it's good engagement and good fun. Yeah, spread the word. It's good fun. And doing this has led to meeting some really cool people at the football as well. Like people coming up to say hi and saying they love what, the channel and stuff like that. It's just awesome to talk to like-minded Richmond supporters, whether it's in games or on Twitter, on Facebook, whatever it might be. It's good fun. Put Grok on the stats. An ultimate match day call of the game. It's funny you say that, Carl. There's been a few times where I've considered re-recording a classic game, like a recent game that's been a good one, and just doing commentary, like not having the game on mute essentially, and just recording whether it's my commentary or other people's commentary, whatever, on top of it. But I just don't know how it will land, to be honest, because commentary is really hard to do, and I don't know. I might get the balls to try it one day, but I just think it might fall flat in its face. But I might look to do a couple more of this video analysis videos as well. They tend to be a bit of fun. Recall round 1. I know the other reason why I don't know whether to do it or not is because the outcome. I don't want to feel like that it's completely manufactured, the emotions about it, but it would be completely manufactured. I just think it maybe comes across better when it is raw emotion and it's completely unknown. I don't know, maybe I'll try one and see what happens. Gogglebox. There's plenty of fun things we can do. I have reached out to a few past players as well. So Andrew Rains has agreed to jump on for a chat at some point. I've got to organise a time with Rainsy to come on. So that's that'll be a good one to have on. I've reached out to Nathan Foley. I only sent it today, so I haven't heard back from him. And Nick Daffy, I'm still working on doing a show with Nick and his son Archie, who's father-son eligible next year. So that'll be cool to have Nick and Archie on, especially after Nick played in the Legends game the other night as well, to get his thoughts on all of that too. So there'll be a bit happening in the off-season. It just might take a little bit to pull some of the things together, but we'll do the best we can. Yeah, we'll definitely do a live draft show. Like I said, I've got to complete a mock draft video and get that out shortly. I still might be acquiring a power ranking list from a draft person that you may or may not know from previous shows, and I'll talk about his stuff as well if he sends that through for me. So yeah, still plenty to come. Not gonna lie, Justin, there was a point in time when there was a lot of there's always been speculation about Dusty retiring or going to Gold Coast and shit like that, and we were adamant for a long time that he was going nowhere because of the connection Tiggs has. It was pretty irrefutable, so we were pretty comfortable to go out against the mainstream media and say, no, that's bullshit, it's not happening. And we were getting a lot of likes and stuff from Ralph Carr, so we actually tried to tee up. We tried to reach out and say, hey, why don't you guys, like you as well, Ralph, come on for a chat with Dusty? But it didn't get over the line. But that would be the dream, wouldn't it? To get Dusty on, that'd be very cool. But yeah, I wasn't able to get that over the line, unfortunately. For these type of streams, possibly, yeah. And I don't know whether they'll be every week. Maybe I should have done it on a Monday. Honestly, I could have done it on a Monday, but I'm thinking of keeping the past player interviews for Mondays because that's kind of a time slot everyone's familiar with. Like, I don't want this to sound stupid, but because of the sort of, not the lengths you have to go to get the past players on, but if I get a past player on, I kind of want to make sure that it's worthwhile and we've got a good audience in to ask questions and to actually engage with the past player being a live show. Like, I would hate to run a live show with a past player and have 25 or 30 people in the house. Because you want to see everyone enjoying it and the questions coming through that I don't even think of. So I'm thinking of putting them on the Monday nights in the off season whenever I can organize them, because it feels like a time slot that everyone is accustomed to. And then these random lives, they might be on a Tuesday, or that's probably the most likely, to be honest. And then, whatever else rolls out. Draft night will be on whenever draft night is, and trade stuff. I'll try and give as much notice as possible whenever things are happening. But we'll see what can come of it all. Unfortunately, that won't happen. He is kind of bunkered down because of his. I think he explained on his last tweet because of his new role, his role changing and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll hopefully be able to extract some draft information potentially. We'll see how we go. But I'm always happy to talk about anyone's mock draft, and I think anyone who's, I don't say bold enough, but anyone who's prepared to put together a mock draft, it's always fun to talk about. And no one should be held to full account if a mock draft doesn't turn out the way that someone mocked it up to be, because it is literally all guesswork, right? And Cal Toomey is the only one who gets the top 10 right. And I think we can all universally agree because he gets inside information, which is fine. It's what he does for a job. But it's just good fun just to see where people rank other players. So, yeah, and that's why I want to get Dylan Alexander on and people like that to get their views. We'll see. We'll see where we land. Oh, it was honestly, some of the shit that was written, Justin, was just mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. Rex Hunt is that right? Okay, that's interesting. He would be funny to listen back to, wouldn't he, Rex Hunt? He would definitely tee off on a few people. No, my pleasure, Paul. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all the love and support. It's been very, 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 very overwhelming in a lot of ways, just how much support the channel's gained. Like, in October last year, we'd maybe just hit 1,000 subscribers, or we're very close to, and now we're almost at 3,700. So, and that's only on one platform. Facebook over the last couple of weeks has grown almost by about 400. Everyone's getting around the Tiger stuff, which is awesome, which is very, very cool. So these are the other videos that are coming out. So maybe in the next couple of days, there'll be a series starting of player rating cards for 2025. So we're sort of giving them a school grade ranking for anyone who played a game for us this year. Grok's helped me out with the first 3, and I'll get the other boys on to do some other ones as well. So we'll, that'll happen over the course of a couple of months because it's 40 odd videos. And yeah, there'll be plenty of other things we'll have to do, like talking about the best 22 for next year and what our new draftees look like and stuff like that. There's going to be heaps of stuff. There's just this probably little period now between end of August and end of, well, let's call it mid-October is probably a bit of a flat spot. So yeah, we're trying to be a little bit creative to see what things there is to do. Yeah. Well, yeah. They stooged us. There's no two ways about it. But we got Sean Grigg along the journey. So for Andy Collins, that wasn't the worst trade. We did all right there. Pick swap. I mean, it feels like it only really makes sense to do one with Gold Coast. But I guess what I sometimes don't understand is how will it benefit them? Because them getting an earlier pick may not necessarily help them when it comes to the whole points and bidding and shit like that. So that's probably the part I'm not fully across. But from a pick positional perspective, they seem to be the only ones that you would do it with, unless Essendon were trying to jump ahead to pick a player. But that would be a very big move from them, given they're straight after us. I guess you can use your future picks 2 years down the track as well, which could come into play too. But you reckon Carlton could be an option as well? Look, I think a lot of it will happen on the night. I think a lot of the pick splitting is going to be dictated to by who West Coast don't take. So then who's available and who, if other clubs want to get that particular player, they might be willing to cough up, a bit more than usual to be able to get into that spot. So I think it'll be something on the night. So we'll definitely do a live show on draft night because I feel like there could be a bit of excitement and energy on those first few picks in particular. Yeah, true. Get out the Dean bid. That's a fair call. Oh, we can only hope, Justin. We can only hope. What a year that was. And I'll make sure I amend the size of the death ride chart to fit it all in. Yeah, it is a spanner. But it's more of a spanner because if they get Starcevic and Judd McVie, then why aren't they losing? Or why isn't it diluted? Like, why would they even ask for assistants to not lose the value of pick 2 when they're picking up free agents as well, if they get the free agents? Like what they're asking is totally unprecedented. I'll be shocked if they allow it. I'd also not be shocked if they didn't allow it. I don't know. The AFL make their own rules up. But we'll see how that one plays out. But anyway, that is a wrap for tonight, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Apologies the quiz wasn't as good as I hoped it was going to be, but I will do my best to custom make the quizzes next time so they're more Richmond-centric. We'll get a different package so more people can play, and we'll hopefully have a bit more fun with it because I think it's a pretty fun thing to do. But have a wonderful night, everybody. Oh, my voice just broke. Keep an eye on the YouTube channel for the different videos coming out. There was a trade one that we put out today of Grok and I chatting. There'll be the ones of the player rankings and whatever else comes up. Make sure you get around it. So have a good night, everybody. And until next time, go Tigers.